Hello there and welcome to what was formerly called Ask Indy,
Hello.
but is now called We the 45. My name is Ian Wark,
My name is Paul Smith.
and basically we've been doing this YouTube thing for a few months now, and it was called Ask Indy for those who are new to it. And we were asking for people to send in questions to talk about the Independence Referendum. Unfortunately, the Independence Referendum has now passed. We didn't win, so we've now decided to regroup, rebrand, and ask the question, what next? Where are we? Yeah, what do we do now? Where are we? Because I think people who've been active in the Yes movement, which, we still are, I'm still wearing my Yes thing, he's got his Yes badge on. People who've been active in the Yes movement over the last few months have built up this really positive political energy. And I think it's really important that we don't just let that fizzle out now and just get back in our boxes and forget that we've been politicised. I think it's really important that we keep going.
Yeah, there's 45% of the electorate voted for a radical change, and basically we've woken up the next day with everything being exactly the same. Now, I think a lot of the people that didn't vote for this radical change did so on a few promises, one of which I'm going to demonstrate right now. When the change is coming, it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, because I think that's the reason why so many people, maybe when it came to the day of voting, thought, we're getting change, we've been promised, we've seen Gordon Brown, we trust him, why risk it?
Yeah.
And then, less than 24 hours after the polls had closed, we had Ed Miliband and David Cameron coming on the telly and telling us,
well, see, essentially what David Cameron said was, we'll give some change for Scotland, but we the Tories have to think what suits us best. So we're going to go away and have a wee think about that, and we'll give you the scraps off the plate. And Ed Miliband has essentially come out and said, we will push for more powers for an independent Scotland, but we're going to save that as a campaign tool for the general election coming up to win back the Scottish votes.
Which is particularly galling because there was a Better Together leaflet that came through in the last week of the campaign, and there were a list of promises, and one of them was, it was like a calendar, and it said September the 19th, timetable to be announced, this will be announced, and then September the 19th happened, we lost, and then we had all these guys come out saying, well, we can't do anything just now, we need to run it by the other MPs in England. Yeah. So essentially, that was a lie. Yeah. So people have, I'm not saying a lot of people, because some people will have voted no because they don't want change, because that's what no effectively was. But there will have been a few, and I imagine quite a lot of people who were swayed by that last minute offer, and they kept saying, it's guaranteed, you're definitely going to get it. We're not going to lie to you, you're definitely going to get more powers. The front page of the Daily Record the day before the vote, it was this big picture, it was the vow, and it was written out like on a scroll, and it had the leaders' their signatures on it, and it was the vow, the promise,
sort of
this is what you're definitely going to get this. And yet, we were saying this before the referendum. There was nothing guaranteed. We kept saying that, they kept saying guaranteed more powers, and we kept saying guaranteed where? It's not written down anywhere. There's nothing constitutional. It was just a promise, and it turned out, as happened in 1979, it turned out to be an empty promise, which is what we had kind of suggested before the vote. But anyway, there's no point in dwelling on that because we're in this situation now where the country has, I wouldn't say overwhelmingly, but they have voted no, 55 to 45. So we are the 45, the ones that didn't vote no. And we now need to decide, what do we do next? How do we channel the positivity and the political energy? How do we channel that in a positive way to actually do something good with the energy that we have?
The three main parties that were pushing for independence, that's the Greens, the SNP and the SSP, have reported record numbers of new membership since the referendum, since the no vote. These new members are the people that were hungry for the change and now willing to sign up and subscribe to a party in order to further that momentum.
So we would say that's definitely the first thing, that anyone watching this, anyone who took an interest and felt passionately about the Yes movement and making change, go and join a political party. Preferably one of the ones Paul's just mentioned. Don't join the Tories. Yeah. I mean, Paul and I quite happily admit we both signed up for the SNP on Friday evening quite difficult to do because their website crashed because they were so overloaded with people signing up.
Yeah.
But seemingly, I mean, we're on Monday. This is the Monday after the referendum. I think it said online this morning they've had almost 15,000 new members in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
That's quite incredible.
Well, their membership before the referendum was 25,000.
It's now over 40,000.
So it's, yeah, I mean, it's...
Scottish Labour's membership is 13,000 right now. So more people have joined the SNP since Friday than are actually members of the Scottish Labour Party. So I think the first plan has to be, how do we strategically take things forward? And I think obviously you are faced with that choice. Do I join the Green Party? Do I join the SNP? Do I join the SSP? Now, you and I have both decided to go for the SNP, not because we think it's necessarily the best party to join up with, but strategically, in terms of winning an election or becoming electable, the SNP represents the best option.
It's not just us that's saying this as well. I mean, Tommy Sheridan from the Solidarity Party, it used to be SSP, he's come out with an official statement saying, I don't agree with a lot of, I mean, this is Tommy Sheridan's word, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but I don't agree with a lot of the SNP policies. However, for the future, for the short-term future, particularly in the run-up to the general election, we need to get these unionist parties out of Scotland because they've lied to us, they've betrayed us once again. Let's push for this change, and the most effective way to do it, even though I don't agree with them, is the SNP.
Well, Tommy's an intelligent guy, and he realises the strategic importance of... Because the thing that's been brilliant about the Yes movement is it's been a unifying experience. People who come from, people like myself and yourself, kind of Labour voting background, and SNP and Green and Socialist and Liberal, all these people have come under the one umbrella together to fight for something. And I think it's important that that continues to happen, because my worry is people do go off and join all these different parties, and that 45% suddenly gets split into 30% and 5% and 7%, and you are more powerful when you're working together. Now, obviously, we don't know what the political parties are planning to do yet, because it's only been 3 days. I mean, we are hearing mutterings of possible coalition or an alliance. You know, people are talking about they may change the name of some of the political parties and come under this umbrella of the Scottish Alliance. We don't know that because it's too early to say. I mean, I think the parties, deservedly probably, the party leaders like Nicola Sturgeon and Patrick Harvie and Alex Salmond, these guys probably want a little bit of a rest before they get their battle gear back on. Yeah. So I think we do need to see what happens then. But I think certainly the immediate thing that anyone who's got any interest in this should be doing is joining a political party.
So the real guardians of progress are not the politicians at Westminster or even at Holyrood, but the tens of thousands of people who I predict will refuse to go meekly back into the political shadow. Alex Salmond, Friday, September 19th. This is the sentiment that we want to carry over, that we want to encourage people to do. Now, again, we've had a couple of ideas of how we're going to carry on this. For me, an idea is that, well, one of the things that was so invigorating about the run-up to the referendum was the public meetings that people had. It was a chance for people to get together, to share ideas, to ask questions, and discuss the sort of next steps. I think it would be an idea for these meetings to continue. So definitely. I would encourage people, organise public meetings, discuss what you're going to do with regards to your future, your children's future, your grandchildren's future, whoever you're talking about, really.
Anyone's future.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the ideas I had. What about yourself, Ian?
Well, no, I think the public meeting thing would be good, and I think something else. I mean, we're obviously the main agenda, the biggest change we are looking for is the constitutional change that would mean Scotland would eventually become an independent country, and that is the ultimate goal. But I also think there are other things we should be basically, I think we should be taking our newfound political interest, our newfound enthusiasm for politics, and channeling that as well into affecting the changes that we can actually make just now. So taking more of an interest in local issues and national issues within Scotland as well, and actually pushing for those changes, the ones that we can actually make now, rather than just sitting back and waiting for governments to do that, waiting for Westminster to do things. People actually trying to make a difference now and doing things while we've got the knowledge and we've got the energy and we've got the enthusiasm. Because I think certainly a lot of the people, I imagine, a lot of people that voted yes will have read up on a lot of the sort of political issues and the reasons for voting yes. And I think that political awareness must not be wasted. I think we shouldn't go back into our boxes and just carry on being ruled by London.
No, of course.
We should take an interest. And if there is things that happen that we don't like, we protest, we have meetings, we do things, and we channel that energy in a positive way. We mustn't start breaking off into factions. That's important. And I think blaming the people that voted no and moaning about that's not really going to help either. And I've seen quite a lot of that online already, and I can understand it. I can understand it because I do feel it myself. I feel resentment towards people that I know that have voted no, but that's not going to make anything any better. It's not going to affect change.
An argument's never going to be won by making someone feel miserable about making a choice. Some people have voted no and read a lot into it and feel very, very strong in their reasons for voting no, and the only way you're ever going to win a person like this over is through persuasive argument.
Well, one of the things you've said, you were talking about one of the slogans for this. We've got the 45, but it's the 45 and rising. The aim, I suppose, the ultimate aim of what we're doing and what we want everybody to be doing that believed in the yes cause and still believes in the yes cause is to take that 45 and get it up so that it's at 50 and then get it beyond 50. Because once it's beyond 50, we win.
I don't know if have you looked at our new Twitter page recently?
Not yet. No, I don't use Twitter.
Well, okay.
I will.
The slogan on that is the 45 will become the 55 will become the 65 and so on.
Excellent.
And the reason being that I feel a lot of the 55% that voted no in this election did so based on false promises, did so based in a continued belief that Westminster is functioning in the best interests of we the people. I think people are very, very quickly going to realise that these promises are going to fall through. The main unionist parties within hours began to disagree with each other, began to double back in their promises, and people are not going to be fooled by this.
I've seen people online saying they regret voting no. I've seen loads of people. I've seen people on Facebook. I've seen screen grabs of people on Twitter saying I voted no, but I kind of wish I hadn't now. Because, as you say, within 24 hours, the unionist parties came out and went, we didn't see those promises we made. We didn't really mean them. They meant nothing. And I think
the more that just coming out going, we were only joking.
Yeah, fooled you. You voted no. Well done.
The reason we're promoting the and rising part is because 45% of us voted for radical change. 55% of us weren't really that comfortable with that change, but people will turn. People will come to you if you were an active yes campaigner, if you were promoting the idea of independence, promoting the idea of change, people are going to come to you and they're going to say, what do we do now? Where do we go from here? And this is what this is all about. And
if people have suggestions, things they want us to talk about, the contact details are under the video. So please, don't be a stranger.